each month. From railroads to rock music, True Story uncovers the hidden history that makes Jackson so special. Tune in Fridays at 3:30, 7:30, and 10.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the morning show. Good morning, Andy.
Good morning. That snow is kind of depressing in the open.
Yeah, I was
like, oh no. But yeah, we're going to get rid of that snow soon.
We might see some more snow later this week. And it will be a cold weekend. 20s for highs. Saturday and Sunday right now, 29 degrees, wind chill 23. Cloudy today, sunshine high 38. We're still in winter.
Yes, we are. March is tweener month for us.
Mm-hmm. It's winter in Europe as well as the latest from Ukraine. 2 million refugees since the invasion began, and they're flooding into Europe.
Mostly Poland,
yeah.
Right? Mostly Poland and some surrounding countries, but 2 million, and that's in less than 2 weeks, right?
And that's so far.
So far, right? I was talking with someone last night, and we have a hard time, I think, as Americans picturing what life is like in another country because of the way we were raised and taught throughout history books. We have a hard time picturing society in Ukraine. Well, they have houses, they have banks, they have mortgages, they have TV, they have celebrities, they have big cities. They have everything we have. So when you picture 2 million people displaced, picture those folks have mortgages to pay, bills to pay, banks to go to. How the hell are they supposed to do that when they're out of the country? They have things like youth sports there. I mean, they have everything that we have. And when you look at it like that and realize that their entire country has been completely turned on its head, you should be able to relate to it a little bit about what we're doing here, because you look at it as I think as Americans, a lot of times we look at countries overseas kind of with a a tainted thought, like we don't give those other countries the credit they deserve, right? But yeah, it's just an absolute disaster over there. Just a disaster.
I think we can't fathom it. We just can't comprehend it.
Think about that. 2 million people already displaced. Did they have things to do? What are they going to go back to? When will they be able to go back to? Is all of their money gone? I mean, it's just real hell.
Yeah, with pretty much just the clothes on their back, leaving their house, their living room. It's unbelievable.
So humanitarian aid is coming from everywhere. No, every country is willing. That's how we will help. They want Ukraine wants some jets from Poland.
I think we should give them.
Well, no, they want them from Poland, and then U.S. will reimburse Poland with jets. But the problem is, Poland doesn't want to do that because they're afraid Putin will see that as an escalation of war, which I tend to agree with. And I don't think you want to give him any reason to do anything, because he already has proven that he will act for no reason whatsoever.
Very sick man. The U.S. is looking into possible war crimes, but isn't war a crime?
Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do? Like, what are they going to do? Fly to wherever he is, go in there and arrest him? No, it's just talk. It's just talk. But gas prices are on the rise, and it's because of this war, right? It is because of the war. So we are at an all-time high nationally, most expensive in U.S. history, eclipsing 2008. So the cost of regular across the country average is $4.17. Previous national high was in July of 2008. Oh, don't we remember the summer of 2008 so fondly? $4.11 it was. Gas was $3.80 in Homer. I really screwed up when I was there.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. You should have filled up.
So, and if you want to humor yourself, the gas affects the airlines as well. Try and book a ticket to Orlando for spring break. See what that costs right now. Humor yourself. You've got time. Takes 5 seconds. See what it costs to go from Detroit to Orlando around the spring break time.
Probably pricey.
You can fly coach for $1,300.
Wow. That is pricey.
Yes.
We have news today from Alro Steel.
Yes, we do. We do. Alro Steel has announced the election of Randy Glick as CEO and chairman. The Alro Steel Board of Directors announced that today that Randy Glick has been elected to the position of Chief Executive Officer and Chairman of the Board. Randy started his career with Alro in 1981, working in corporate purchasing. He's held various roles, including inside sales, admin management, and general manager of Alro Plastics. He became corporate operations manager in 1993 and vice president of operations in 2013 and named senior vice president at that time as well. And since 2016, Randy has served in his current position of executive VP. Randy says, following my father, the founder of Alro and an icon in the metals industry, is not an easy task. I am proud to be elected as the new CEO of Alro Steel and excited to carry on the duties of our family business and the legacy that Al started in 1948. So congratulations to Randy. I know you know Randy, a great community member and just another great man in this community. So congratulations to Mr. Randy Glick.
Yes, not a surprise. This was totally expected and part of the succession planning of the company and the family. So congratulations to Randy Glick. Big Michigan football fan, Michigan basketball fan, as well as his dad. In fact, we've seen Randy on the sidelines at the Michigan basketball games.
Randy is as iconic as Al at basketball games.
Yeah.
Randy's always there.
And guess who's back? Juwan Howard is back after his 5-game suspension.
Yeah. Did you hear that, Brandon? Brandon's just not. No, he's not interested in that. We're, I think, as a Michigan fan and as a Michigan State fan, both okay with kind of how the regular season ended, ready for this Big Ten tournament, and
I wanted to see him play Wisconsin.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe that'll happen. Could happen. Michigan could play Wisconsin in the tournament if they make it to the tournament. But some people think maybe Juwan Howard didn't need to come back after the interim coach, what's his name?
Phil Martelli.
Beating both Michigan State and Ohio State. So,
Hey, it happens.
not easy to do.
It's not
Also,
easy to do.
Michigan football, remember a couple years ago they toured
Everywhere.
France, then they went to South Africa, the following year. Guess where they're going this summer?
I will say they're going to the Maldives.
The state of Michigan.
Oh.
Michigan football announcing yesterday they're going to tour the state of Michigan as their summer tour. So maybe they'll come here.
I would love for them to come here. That would be great. Yeah, they've kind of taken the recruiting benefits and trips to the next level the last few years. Part of being recruited by a major college football team is finding out what country you're going to go visit for 2 weeks in the summer on a beautiful vacation.
How would you like a new boat? Boat prices are through the roof.
I would like a new boat. I don't have an old boat.
Here's a free boat. In California, Irwindale police encountered this. They were on patrol, and there's an abandoned boat anchored to the street sign that says no parking. It's Los Angeles Street in Irwindale. It was removed by the city crew, but it was not stolen. It was just left there.
I don't know if you ever heard this story, but my friend Rich and I were on our way home from the casino one time in Mount Pleasant, and it was late, and a few of us were sleeping in the car on the way home, and we wake up, and Rich is trying. There was a boat like that on the highway, and we wake up, and he was trying to tie the boat to bring it back to Siena Heights. The boat was not on a trailer. He's trying to hook it up with a Ford Taurus.
Nice.
Yeah, it didn't work out. So but it was that's a true story. Hey, you know I'm a big fan of vanity license plates.
I know, we have one.
We do. We have one. Well, there's a new one in North Carolina, and this one is fart. And that's a word you don't like to say, right?
I do not
Say
like
it
that
once.
word.
Say it.
I won't say it.
Just say it.
As I was growing
Brandon,
up,
say it.
Bart.
Bart, say it. Bart.
as I was growing up, that's what mean kids called me.
Oh, you know what? Those kids.
Yeah, kids.
The license plate, one North Carolina woman paid extra money to have on the back of her vehicle. Good Lord, fart. Carly Cindy of Asheville said the DMV approved her personalized license plate back in October. She was a bit surprised but excited when she received the plate in the mail. She put it on her truck and went on her merry way, driving around town with fart on the back of her pickup.
I don't even want to see it anymore.
But then, on February 25th, she received a letter in the mail from the DMV, and the letter stated that the DMV had received some complaints about the fart plate.
She claims it stands for Friends of Asheville Regional Trails, an organization that does not exist. So she's trying to backpedal.
You
to
know
keep the
people in
license
Asheville.
plate.
I know people in
Yes.
Asheville, and they don't like this stuff.
No.
So take your plate and move on to the low country.
We're in it's March Madness.
It is March Madness.
Yeah, we've got a busy week. We've got girls regionals, boys districts. What happened
Let me give
last
you
night?
Yeah, let's give you some scores brought to you by Extreme Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, presenting our scoreboard all year long. Thank you very much to our friends. So districts were crazy last night. So Northwest beat Jackson High 50-46, and they will play Lansing Everett, I believe. Division 2 at Tecumseh, Western won and Adrian won. Division 3, Hanover Horton, they advanced. They beat Springport 68-50. The long game, we're calling it the long game. Michigan Center outlasts Lumen Christi in 5 overtimes, 89-85. That was
5 overtime.
So that was the first game of the night. Imagine that.
Wow.
Gosh, first game of the night.
We'll have photos from that game coming up later this morning.
Yeah,
on
photos and
JTV.tv.
highlights from the majority of those games will be available on our website later today. In Division 3 at Columbia, Addison beat Manchester by 1. Marshall Academy beat JPAC. Jackson Christian advances, and they beat Battle Creek Calhoun.
That Jackson prep team looked really good. Marshall Academy had some
Yeah.
really tall football players.
Oh,
on
did
there.
they?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so great opportunity to get out and see some basketball tonight. On deck, we've got girls regional action, and we have three teams. So Western, they are going to play East Lansing at 5:30. Now Western and East Lansing, they have played once this year already. Western beat them by 1. Note, this game is at 5:30. It's listed other places at 7 o'clock, but if you want to see Western, they are at 5:30. And then in Division 3 at Hudson, Leslie Dansville's the first game, and then the locals play at 7, Columbia Central and Grass Lake, which should be a heck of a game. And that's Division 3 at Hudson, and we have folks out at all those games, so or most of the games, and we'll have highlights and photos for you later today and tomorrow.
Busy show today. Who's on?
We have the return of Dr. Donna O'Neill, and Dr. Donna is next.
Here at Townsend Elementary School, we specialize in individualized instruction and creating a personal connection with each and every student that enters our building. We work hard to provide programs to support all our different types of learners, and we also have programs to enrich and challenge our students daily. We value our parents, our students, and our community. We're not just a school, we're a family. We are accepting school of choice applications, and registration can be found on our website or call our front office. Welcome to Jayhawk Country, where we soar.
For over 35 years, Nostalgia Inc. has been Jackson's home for all things comics, graphic novels, and games. Whether it's Spider-Man, Batman, X-Men, The Walking Dead, or even Stranger Things and Star Wars, Nostalgia's friendly staff has decades of experience and can find the perfect gift for that fanatic in your life. With the largest selection and inventory of the latest comics, you're always sure to find something new and different at Nostalgia. Looking for something from years back? Our backstock selection can't be beat. And don't forget to ask about our subscription service so you never miss an issue. Into Magic the Gathering, D&D, Pokemon, or tabletops? We've got everything you could ever need. Whether you're starting a new hobby, a seasoned collector, or just shopping for that superhero in your life, Nostalgia Inc. is the place for you. Nostalgia Inc. on Mechanic Street in downtown Jackson.
At Culver's, we never tire of crafting fresh frozen custard right in our restaurants. Vanilla, chocolate, or the flavor of the day, it's all made fresh.
It's not like we make one batch and we're done. We make batch after batch. Slow churning at the right temperature is the key to perfect custard.
This is really good.
You gotta give it some love. That's when you're able to serve a nice, beautiful dessert to your guest.
I like that creamy thickness of the custard. It's really good.
This is my 10th batch of the day, so there's a lot of happy people out there.
There's a lot of hard work that goes into this.
Welcome to Delicious.
Searching for medical supplies can be a challenging aspect of the healthcare system, but with help from Brown's Advanced Care Medical Supplies, you can set your worries aside. Our expert staff takes the time to give each of our customers the personal attention they deserve and are trained to find the right products for each individual. If you can't come to us, then let our delivery team come to you to help set up your supplies so you can get back to what really matters, living your life. Brown's Advanced Care Medical Supplies. Locally owned, locally operated, locally loved.
The morning show is being brought to you by Wilcox Lawn and Landscaping. They are awesome landscaping providers, complete design, installation, and maintenance of decks, retaining walls, patios, gazebos, and water gardens for Jackson and the surrounding areas. Among the services, boulders, wood walls, decks, gazebos, paver walks, patios, segmental retaining walls, water gardens, landscape design, and they do just regular lawn landscaping. Free estimates, call 517-529-4550 for Wilcox Lawn and Landscaping.
They do my sprinkler system.
Oh, your lawn looks so lush.
I don't know that to be true. Our first guest on today's show is Dr. Donna O'Neill from the Pick Center. Good morning, Dr. Donna.
Good morning.
It's nice to see you.
Yeah, it's been 5 weeks.
It's unbelievable. So we're talking a lot this week about the 2-year anniversary, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of this was going in 2 years ago. We were going into our last normal weekend, and then the cancellations started to roll. Does it feel like 2 years, or does it feel like
Longer.
6 months or 10 years? Yeah.
Longer.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. I went to my first medical meeting in February, and it was the first meeting for all of us. You know, for 2 years. It was weird. It was. They only allowed half of us to attend, half were in person, half were virtual. We had to rapid test every morning. We couldn't eat in the rooms. We wore masks. We had little stickers on our name badges saying if we wanted people to stay far away, close up. It's a start, but you know, it showed me the impact of COVID because everything's come to a standstill. You know, we only had. I was okay with people.
Oh.
Yeah, but I mean, all the research stopped. You know, we only spent a half a day on COVID. Unfortunately, we didn't get into some of the controversial topics, but yeah, so we're getting back. And then the big news, we picked up my mom from Canada, and just Ted went and got her from, going through Windsor was quite unusual because it was during the truckers, convoy. So there were barricades, heavy police presence. All the lights were red and flashing so the cars would slow down. The only good thing about it was there was no traffic at the border. But we still, to get her home this weekend, we have to still register and be tested. And then we took my mom to visit my son. We all met up in Savannah. And there's a picture of them I think we're showing it.
You know what's funny? When were you in Savannah? We might have been there the exact same
Last week.
Really?
Yeah.
She looks
Was
like
I in Savannah last week?
You
I
were
was.
in Savannah last
That
week.
was weird.
I'm in that photo. Is that the big park there?
That's one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not Forsyth Park.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was only there for a few hours, but yeah, it's a beautiful town.
You have a beautiful mom.
Yeah, so slowly, getting back into the swing of things. So when you think about it, things are looking up. Yeah, spring's coming, spring break you've mentioned, warm weather, that should help. You know, we know from past pandemics, usually they run 2 to 3 years. So I don't know if this is the end. I hope so, but we just have to stay tuned. So the virus, you know, looks good in some parts of the U.S. Maybe we can show some of the slides.
Sure.
In some countries, you know, we're hearing about Hong Kong and New Zealand. It's not over there. I think the last time I was here, everything was red. Now we're showing different colors. This map is getting a little obsolete because the CDC has changed. They've only have 3 risk categories. If you want to show the next one. Fortunately, Jackson, we're in the low risk category, meaning things can really open up, but it's not consistent throughout the U.S. The next one. So this is what we have to keep our eye on, and this is the variance. And you can see over time, just by the colors, how it changes. And what happens next is going to depend upon the variance. So in some places like Denmark, you know, things haven't settled down because the other variety of Omicron has taken hold. And maybe the next slide.
What happened here? Did Omicron infect so many people so fast that it kind of got it out of the way a little bit? We hope so.
We'll see. Yeah. We'll see. And then we're in category 5. Again, the variant piece of the pie is the lighter pinky purple color. So we have to keep an eye on that. And how we're going to do that, the next slide. This was interesting. I kind of revisited this. There's this wastewater project where they check for the virus in our water system. And this is for the state of Michigan. Unfortunately, Jackson is on the downslide. But there's, you know, a few areas where that's not happened. So this is going to help it only partially because it's very coarse data. We don't know how sick these people are going to get. We don't know their ages. It just tells us if there's activity. So that's one of the ways we're going to keep an eye on things.
It is a worldwide pandemic, and the war is, I think, causing some new concerns. We've got Poland, Hungary, Romania, all seeing refugees pour in, most of them unvaccinated. Could we see and in some parts of the world, they're just starting the pandemic, could we see new variants create resurgences that could then end up being transmitted back to the United States? Could it start all over again?
We just have to keep our eye out, see what's next. I can't predict, nobody can, but true, all those things are true.
Monday, the world eclipsed 6 million deaths.
But a lot of people think that's an underestimation. So I've seen rates as high as 17 million. Wow. And really that number kind of boggles my mind. It's hard to comprehend that.
Absolutely crazy.
So I think most people feel it's probably more around 14 million. So clinically, I think what we have to look forward to is, you know, you're going to hear a lot about long COVID. And that's what I would always tell people. They're always worried about the long-term consequences of the vaccine. I was more worried about the long-term effects of COVID. We still don't know. I don't know if Omicron's going to be less. There's just a lot we don't know, so keep an eye out for that. I've seen several of these patients, and quite incapacitating for some of them.
I have someone in my family with asthma that has had, they had Omicron, very mild case. Asthma's gotten a lot worse since the virus.
Hard to know. I mean, I've seen a lot of, not necessarily older folks, but after COVID, they've now had some cardiac issue. You know, their heartbeat has gone chaotic, you know, atrial fibrillation. So there's a lot still we don't know clinically about it. From the diagnostic point of view, I think you're going to see a lot more about serology. That's, you know, there's a blood test that has shown whether or not people have protection. Now we can quantitate it. I think we're a little behind the rest of the world here, but now you can get a number value, and we have to figure out what that magic number is to tell people if they have protection or not. But it could be very useful to know, you know, what's going on epidemiologically, you know, for vaccine trials and how to manage patients.
I don't think my brain could get any smaller, but there's been some news that the brain could have some effects after this COVID.
Well, this is what I was telling people. I mean, when you can't smell, you know, where do you think that nerve resides? It's up in your brain.
Potentially can shrink up to 10%?
We'll see. I mean, I think that was a bit
Did you hear that?
premature, and I don't think people.
Yeah.
That may be misinformation.
It may be,
and we have to be very careful about that.
The problem is I read the article literally the night before.
But these are all pre-prints, actually, so we have to be really careful with that. But
Okay.
just keep our eyes out. There's a lot new, therapeutically. So vaccines, still nothing for children less than 5. From Canada, we've learned that maybe you get a better response if the interval between your doses is greater. What's really important is for immunosuppressed patients. The world may be a little tougher for that group right now, and it's quite a sizable group. To be up to date, that's the proper term in your vaccinations, they need 4 doses if they've begun with the new mRNA vaccines, the Pfizer or the Moderna. And the timing has changed, so to get that 4th dose, they're recommending that they get it 3 months after their 3rd dose. And I've been pleasantly surprised. We brought the vaccine into the office, and a lot of people are still not up to date, meaning like for you, Andy, 3 doses. And I offer it, and the uptake has been fantastic. I think it matters just so inconvenient for people. They're willing to get it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it is. If people have not made the time or had the time. Now, where we are, things all over the country, there are all different, feelings about the mask, the vaccine. Florida yesterday said they're going to recommend that healthy children not get the vaccine. New York City public schools had their first day without masks yesterday. We're seeing
the West Coast has eliminated masks, really, which is a big deal. 51 million children affected by that on the West Coast.
So I think what you're this happened while we were away in Canada. They've opened up a bit, and they're probably more conservative and slower than any place in the U.S. And my mom was shook up a little bit because my niece got COVID while she was away. So we were very careful with my mother. We made her wear a mask and wear it properly. I felt like I was scolding her all the time. And so that kind of hit home, like it's not over yet. People are, so when things open up, you're gonna expect to see a little bit of a bump. And my niece, by the way, had 3 doses. So
you can't hide from it, right?
I think there's a lot that you can do to decrease your risk, and I think the point is it's all local. If we've learned anything from this, is we need a local approach, and I hope we keep that in mind, looking ahead. And I think how you behave is going to depend upon your risk. So I think we're forgetting these immunosuppressed patients where life is not going to be still the same. And if you work with them like I do, if you live with them, your behavior is going to be, different, and that's okay. You were free to do that. So we shouldn't mock them. We should care about them, and keep this in mind, that in these people, this is where the variants develop because they have a hard time clearing it. And someday we're all going to be like that, because as we get older, our immune system gets weaker. So if you want to be a little selfish, we need to think about these people.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, there's new treatments. So there's one for the hospital, and the monoclonal antibodies that changes weekly now. There's 2 that are still recommended. So fortunately, we have a new one to help us with the variants. So we're having progress. So I don't expect to see what it was like last March. Let's put it that way.
More with Dr. Donna O'Neill from the Pick Center after this short break.
Furniture for your way of living.
Hi, I'm Nate Vermeulen. Over this last year, we've realized just how important family and community can be. Our family would like to say thank you. We truly appreciate you. Vermeulen's is still here after 96 years because of the support of our amazing family, customers, and community. From all of us at Vermeulen Furniture, thank you.
Vermeulen Furniture for your way of living.
Collins Brothers floor covering, because new carpet is like, very nice. But commercials suck. Don't change the channel, change your carpet. Collins Brothers downtown, excellent. Established in 1940,
That's before the war, sucker.
If you're looking for a high-quality, affordable alternative to the emergency room, then come to IEP Urgent Care's new location in Jackson. It's the same great ER physicians who have been providing care through our local hospitals since 2008, but now with a new location to serve you better. Our ER-trained providers believe high-quality care is for everyone, so we work with all insurances, including Medicaid and Medicare. Come see us on East Michigan Ave. Asthma Allergy Centers can help you breathe freely. Since 1980, our board-certified specialists have provided testing and treatment for a wide variety of asthma and allergy-related conditions, including immunodeficiencies and skin problems. No referrals are necessary, and we accept any insurance or no insurance. You can even use our mobile app to check in and pay. Come see us at our Jackson office or one of our multiple offices in Southwest Michigan.
Welcome back to the morning show. Dr. Don O'Neill back with us from the PIC Center with the 2-year anniversary of the start of the pandemic nearing. We can look at the toll, which has been amazing. In the United States, we're nearing 1 million people who have died. We're seeing cases still declining in the state of Michigan. The positivity rate is down, but people are still dying.
Yeah, Dr. Keck and I were talking yesterday, and he has somebody in a local hospital who he expects is going to pass from it. And you know, patients come in and, you know, what's new? Oh, somebody died due to COVID. So yeah, it's not totally over, but things are definitely looking up. And I think we kind of have to, I mean, let's get rid of, COVID was the top cause of death in January of this year.
Wow.
Amazing. And then for last year, next slide, I came in number 3.
Oh, okay, wow, interesting.
So like in 2 years, look what's happened. Yeah.
Can you imagine if we saw this 2 years ago, if someone showed us these charts, what? We wouldn't believe it.
I don't know. Yeah, I wonder.
like,
It'd be
what?
interesting to see how the American people would react to seeing future numbers like that. Probably a lot differently than maybe some of us reacted now. But it's interesting. Where do we go from here?
I don't know. They're talking about having a system kind of like a weather system or a hurricane system, or if you have allergies and trouble breathing, you know, pollen counts. So you could, you know, determine for yourself what your behavior should be like. The only difference, though, with infectious diseases is, you know, if you go outside and you get wet, you're getting wet. But with these infectious diseases, if you get it, you can spread it to other people. So I hope we learn from what we've gone through. I mean, we haven't done as well as some other countries, and we have to kind of shore things up. I mean, I think we've learned ventilation's important, our air filtration, so we should be, you know, focusing on that. Public health really needs a lot of attention. We need to restore trust, you know, not only, you know, in public health, but each other. You know, I think we have to get back to being a caring society and think about, you know, the immunosuppressed people. I think we learned we need to have our own supply of goods. You know, we need to, again, stockpile.
Clorox wipes. I got a pile of them.
Not just that. Not just Clorox wipe. Medicine.
But we have to monitor, and then when the time is right, to intervene. And I think that has to be local, and we have to decide how we're going to do that. You know, do we need to have a group of people getting together? Who's going to make these decisions? So we're not such a chaotic approach.
Well, you know what? It seems like if we were to have another pandemic in another year or two, we would be woefully unprepared. It doesn't seem like we have become mobilized for the next pandemic. If we are where we are today, we've got to change a lot in order to be prepared for the next pandemic.
We need to. Yeah, I mean, so that's, I don't want history to repeat itself, but we need to take those lessons. And I think very importantly, if you're sick, stay home, no matter what you have. We don't want presenteeism. I mean, in the medical profession, it's terrible. We'd all go to work sick. Who's gonna, you know, but you have to stay home.
Yeah.
Our healthcare system needs some suturing right now. You know, we've been hemorrhaging, and yeah, so we have still a lot of work. And you know, we have other infectious diseases that have been around. Think of TB. It's been around for millennia, and still every year it kills 1.5 million people. You know, so yeah, I don't know what the future holds. No one does, but we do need to be ready and learn from it. And I've used a lot of Winston Churchill's quotes, and so this final one: nourish your hopes, but do not overlook realities. Wise man.
Very wise. Were there any, Bart and I show probably once a week a video of someone acting like an idiot on the plane, not wearing a mask. Did you have any of that on your aircraft?
No, I thought, you know, they have a lengthy announcement, and, you know, they're strict if you don't.
I think it's just Spirit Airlines.
I flew Delta, and we felt safe. I mean, this was a big plunge for us. You know, I was kind of like telling my mother to go swim in the ocean before she got in the pool, and she's a non-swimmer, period. So and we're all going to be going at different paces, and that's okay.
I was, when the pandemic first started and the airlines decided that they were going to stop wheeling that giant, heavy metal cart down the aisle, that was going to be gone forever, but it came back.
Oh yeah, it's back.
It's the stupidest thing.
Pick your seat on the plane wisely.
I just can't believe that is the best technology, the best use.
It is. Yeah, of course it is. How else could they do it?
You give people a bag when they get on the plane, and you tell them they can eat it and drink it whenever they want, but sit down and shut up.
Most of our flights we had no service because they were short. Yeah.
What if? I mean, what if you want a Diet Coke and in the bag is a Coca-Cola Classic?
Check something off on your thing.
That's just a lot. I like it how it is.
It's so stupid.
I think it's just fine. I think you need to pick your seat better on the.
Oh, they're never going to change it. And the way they load people on the plane, they put people in the first section on first, and then all the next people have to climb all over them, and they're standing in the aisle adjusting all their stuff. It's insane.
Do you do what we do, or you try and figure out what everyone does for a living that walks by you?
No, I can't say I do that.
Yeah, that's
usually I'm trying to diagnose what their medical problems are.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you should try that because that's awfully fun.
And the fact that they didn't give you food at your medical conference, this is an excuse. The COVID, everybody said, okay, we're not giving people food anymore. That's not coming back. They're using it as an excuse. COVID, we can't give people food.
Well, you don't do buffets, especially probably at a medical conference.
I get it, buffets, but give people the food. Bring the food
back.
We're
still blessed that we can do some of these things, even though they're altered.
Yes, there you go.
Poor Jeff Steers, the MHSA wrestling finals at Ford Field. They said, oh, well, we have, it's still COVID. That's the only place the MHSAA thinks it's still COVID when it comes to food.
No food.
There'll be no press food today.
Oh.
Yes.
Dang it.
COVID.
You know what?
Sometimes
they have popcorn and pop that you can get.
MHSA will cram as many people as we can into a gym, but no press food because there's still COVID.
No. You have to go out to eat to get your own food this time. Sorry.
All right. Thanks for coming in.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Good to
and
see
maybe
you.
next time something else, not COVID.
Sounds good.
We'll talk about something else.
Dr. Don O'Neill from the PIC Center. Stay with us. Mayor Mahoney and Prosecutor Jarzenka join us next.
Hi, this is Superintendent Steve Dorr, inviting you to be a part of the East Jackson family. At East Jackson, we're leading the way in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. We offer one of the area's best robotics teams, as well as a diverse array of arts and music programs. At the high school level, we're excited to launch the Jackson County Early College. New classroom technology helps our curriculum come alive, and our staff ensures a safe and welcoming environment for your child. Great things are happening at East Jackson Community Schools. To learn more, visit our website, eastjacksonschools.org.
Serving made-to-order food cooked with farm-fresh ingredients, Dahlin Burgers offers fast food, craft food, burgers, fries, shakes, Coney dogs, poutine, and more. All-natural house-ground black Angus beef patties, Kennebec fries, hand-cut and twice-cooked, fresh, locally sourced produce, milk buns baked from scratch daily. Taste the local difference, ridiculously good. Hours 10:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. Monday through Sunday. 323 Cooper Street in downtown Jackson. Located in the old Wendy's building on Cooper Street. Also in Tecumseh, DahlinBurgers.com.
Someone once told me that every community needs a strong hospital, a strong college, and a strong bank. County National Bank is that bank. CNB provides outstanding personal banking services and is the bank of choice for several nonprofit organizations that serve our communities. It's an honor to be part of the growth of the communities we serve in Jackson, Hillsdale, Lenawee, and Calhoun counties. And we're proud to help local businesses expand and succeed. CNB is banking that stays in the community.
The PIC Center is an independent practice that has provided care to the Jackson area for over 25 years. Doctors O'Neill and Cack supervise antibiotic infusions, as well as those for many other conditions, such as inflammatory bowel, joint, and lung disease, anemia, and multiple sclerosis. Our modern facility is open 7 days a week, and the infusion staff will make you feel right at home. Let your doctor know you have a choice where you receive your next infusion. Remember, when you've picked us, you've picked the best.
Today's show is brought to you by Vermeulen Home Furnishings. Now in their third generation as a family-owned and operated business, they take pride in helping people furnish their homes with comfortable brand-name furniture at affordable prices. Thanks to Vermeulen Furniture for helping us bring you today's show.
Joining us now on the show is the mayor of the city of Jackson, Daniel Mahoney, and Jackson County Prosecuting Attorney, Jerry Jarzenka. Welcome.
Good morning.
Have you guys met each other?
We have. Just a couple times, yes.
I think he's keeping count. Every agenda, we get the number of meetings that we've had to put this project together. So
we were familiar with meetings, Bart. Yeah, it's part of our lives.
But in your role, you have to work together, and you guys are working together on a summit. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, lead us off, prosecutor.
I will. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Basically, we put together a summit to reduce violence in Jackson County, and it's scheduled for April 8th this year. And this is really a team effort. It's a collaboration of a number of members of our community that have worked on this, since last November. We've had 10 planning committee meetings to organize this event. It's going to be free and open to the public. It's going to be at the America One Event Center. And so we're pretty excited. It's a collaboration of the county, the city, I know Mayor Daniel Mahoney, Jackson College, Kelly Crum, John Willis of the city, Anthony Parker is a concerned citizen, the sheriff, undersheriff, City of Jackson, police chief, or director Elmer Hitt, and myself. So we're really inviting people in the community to step forward, not just the planning committee, but citizens, to really look at the issue of violence. Especially we've had shootings and homicides in the city the last several years, and so this is really another approach, an additional approach to try to get the community involved, to work on solutions locally from our community to address those issues. And so it's kind of like the drug summits we've had. We're taking a page out of that playbook, in effect, to get a community-wide approach, to get everyone in the community to step forward. We want you to be involved. We want your ideas. We want your solutions. And like the drug summits, we basically have scheduled the planning committee, 4 quarterly meetings after this April 8th summit. And we've scheduled another summit to reduce violence next April 14th, 2023, to report back on, the goals and ideas that each work group is going to work on this coming year.
Sounds like a great opportunity, especially to be in the room with leaders and lawmakers that help protect our community. Violence can mean something different to anybody when it comes to thinking about your community and violence. I think of kids with guns, gunplay. That's what I think of first. What is our violence problem in the community? What is the reality of it, I guess I would say?
Well, I mean, the reality is it's just happening far too often. And like you said, it can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people as far as when you say the word violence in the community. But I mean, we wanted to make sure that we were mindful to not make this an opportunity for it to turn into a political situation, right? By saying it is a gun violence summit, because then people think that you're trying to come take their guns, Bart. And that's the last thing that we want people to think, because that's not what the intention is here, right?
Sure.
I know I'll speak for myself personally. I'm definitely a Second Amendment supporter in a major way. But what I want to see stop happening is so many young people losing their lives in the streets of Jackson, Michigan. I mean, not just to gun violence. We just had a young man stabbed to death. I mean, that I've known since 3 or 4 years old, who had an extremely bright future. Full-time dad to his 2 daughters, full custody of his 2 children, who is now gone forever. And over what? Over something very senseless, and just being in the wrong place at the wrong time in the wrong environment. And what are we doing as a community to make sure we're steering individuals away from leading themselves into that lifestyle? And what are we doing to make sure that the bad players out there that don't want to leave that lifestyle alone, to get them off the streets of Jackson and change this community? Because community safety and feeling safe in the community is one of the #1 things that people look for. And if we want to continue growing as a community, as a city, as a county, if we want to continue growing, then that's something that we have to get under control.
Yeah, absolutely. And back to the guns, I don't want to, that's not my role either, but I think the news, as far as what Jackson has seen, has been highlighted by some shootings with kids, and I think that's kind of my point there. But to your point, it's a community-wide issue, and really the conversations need to take place. Correct?
It is, and this is what was so beautiful about the prosecutor's idea, is that this is no longer just an issue of the south side of Jackson. This is no longer an issue that just involves the city of Jackson. This is our entire community, the entire Jackson County and Jackson, the city of Jackson. And we have to lean into this problem as a community to be able to really come up with some solutions to what we can do. Because, as individuals who are involved on the political side, on the law enforcement side, we don't have all the answers. We've got what we may think will work, but we don't have every answer or all the solutions to this problem. And we need everybody in the community to show up and lean into this issue in our community, to wrap their arms around this issue and come to the table with solutions.
Yeah, there's your invitation. The community's openly invited to participate. That's great.
Yep.
We've got an expert speaker that's on the program. Tell us about Jermaine Merritt.
Jubes.
Yes, go ahead.
Well, you want me to tell him about?
Sure, go ahead.
So, I mean, he's a formerly incarcerated individual from Chicago who has changed his life around, but knows exactly what it's like to walk that lifestyle, and is now changed his life around and is going around speaking to youth and communities about just the perspective of like what to do about really impacting and making that change in the community. So
Jermaine Merritt basically is an ex-gang member, so he's going to be talking about his experience and how he changed his life and what he's doing now. So we think he's going to be a very powerful speaker.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, coming from Chicago, they're certainly seeing an incredible amount of, at least according to the reports, a lot of gun violence.
Yes.
A lot of
Yeah, just a lot of violence in general, and I think the pandemic probably brought some of that to light in some of these major cities across the country, Jerry.
Oh, sure. I think the whole pandemic has raised tension levels of all citizens across the country, and so that doesn't help, trying to de-escalate any situations of violence. Most definitely. And I would just add what the mayor was saying about, getting the community involved. I mean, it's kind of like the drug summit, where law enforcement was really overwhelmed by the opioid epidemic, and we asked for citizens to get involved. Here, I can tell you my perspective behind the scenes to you and your viewers. The last 4 years at least, there's been tremendous efforts by law enforcement, especially Chief Hitt and other supporting police agencies to work on issues of shootings we've had, especially in the city. And we've had federal grants. I know in my office, we dedicate 3 assistant prosecutors just to those cases, in addition to myself, my chief assistant. One of our assistant prosecutors actually, under a federal grant, Project Guardian, is assigned as a special federal prosecutor at the U.S. Attorney's Office in Detroit, dealing with cases that go to from Jackson to Detroit and are prosecuted federally. So tremendous amounts of efforts are being done. This summit really is, like the mayor said, we are trying to do some in addition to all that. Cool. Get the citizens involved, because I'm sure they don't like violence. They have their own ideas. And I think we are really optimistic there's going to be some really good ideas that come forward that we can implement.
Well, I can't imagine there are people that are for violence. I think you at least have a unified community against and for solving the problems. You mentioned, you're not specifically saying gun violence because you're afraid that will attract people concerned about losing their guns. But the majority of the violence that we are talking about, it is gun violence, isn't it?
It is. And I mean, it's not necessarily that we were afraid. We were just trying to be mindful.
Keep the conversation where it should be.
We want to eliminate the opportunity for someone to feel like this is not something that I need to be involved in because of my opinion of X, Y, and Z. We really wanted to make this a situation where everyone in the community had the opportunity to come to the table and not feel like their personal values of political standpoints can be something that can be in the way. One thing that I know for sure is everybody in the city of Jackson, in the county of Jackson, wants to live in a safe community.
No doubt, right?
Right. So I think with that being the case, we know what the major issue is, right? We know that there's gun violence, there's the domestic violence issue, there's other violent crimes that happen in the community, and these are the things that we want to wrap our arms around and come to the table with some real solutions that get brought by the community. I mean, like prosecutor said, when you look at the way the community really wrapped its arms around the opioid problem through those summits, and I think what people are really going to really appreciate about this is there's been community meetings with kind of the same cast of individuals held before. So I know most people's mind is going to say, we've tried this before. We've tried coming together as a community to talk about this, and then nothing happens afterwards. The forethought that was put into let's not just plan for this summit, but let's plan work sessions afterwards, and then a follow-up summit the following year, so that people know this is not just a one and done. This is something that we are really truly committed to making sure that the solutions that get brought forth by our community are supported, and that we try to carry those out to the best of our ability.
Right. And actually, just to piggyback off of what the mayor is saying, we've scheduled 5 work groups with chairs and basically breaking down 4 areas where different citizens can really use their skill sets and experiences to address the issue. So we've got faith-based, we've got a family and victim impact work group, we've got an economic work group, we've got a youth education work group, and then of course law enforcement work group. So they're all going to come to the table and work over this coming year to come up with goals and solutions.
Well, we're excited that you're putting this together, and we'll look forward to April 8th, and hope everyone can be there. You've got a big room, the American One Event Center, so all are welcome. Thanks for being here today.
Yeah. Thanks for your time today. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Prosecutor Jerry Jarzenka and Mayor Daniel Mahoney. The morning show continues after this.
At Blair's Car Care, honesty and customer satisfaction have always been the most important thing for us. We have been serving loyal customers in Jackson County for almost 100 years. We do auto repair of all sorts, including tires, alignment, brakes, oil changes, and much more. For more information, please call 517-782-8116 or come stop by at 2424 Wildwood Avenue and experience for yourself what makes Blair's so special.
The PIC Center is an independent practice that has provided care to the Jackson area for over 25 years. Doctors O'Neill and Cack supervise antibiotic infusions, as well as those for many other conditions, such as inflammatory bowel, joint, and lung disease, anemia, and multiple sclerosis. Our modern facility is open 7 days a week, and the infusion staff will make you feel right at home. Let your doctor know you have a choice where you receive your next infusion. Remember, when you've picked us, you've picked the best.
At Consumers Energy, we believe change is preparing for the worst by putting to work the very best. Change is improving by replacing utility poles and redesigning our substations. Change is commitment to upgrading 1,000 miles of our energy grid every year. And change is confidence, the confidence of knowing when it comes to keeping the lights on, we're always on. Consumers Energy, a force for you, a force of change.
Well, having found an interest in wine, I quickly discovered that there wasn't really a lot of choices for good quality wine in Jackson, so if I wanted it done right, I had to do it myself. So with that in mind, I opened Cork and Cap and chose wines specifically to be pairing wines for your meal. We have wines in every price range from $5.99 to $599 if you wanted to go that way, but you don't need to. There's great wine. Most of the wine we sell is in the $10 to $15 bottle range, and it works great with a variety of food. I guess over the years I've learned a lot about wine, and I love to share it, and could probably tell you a story about just about every bottle of wine we have here in the store. Thank you for supporting Jackson's local fine wine retailer, homebrewing, and winemaking supply store.
Welcome back to the morning show. We were talking about the Common Grill last week closing next week, and no new developments as far as we know, but there are people interested in taking it over. But
there are.
We get news, we have news of another institution closing. Hobbs Restaurant in Ypsilanti closed last Friday. I mean, it was the end. It just wrapped up. The restaurant in downtown Ypsilanti opened for 87 years.
Brandon, there's a deja vu in Ypsilanti still, I think.
I have no idea what that is.
David Kabat, 80 years old, the owner, and his son. It was sudden, and the owner's doctors told him he needed an immediate lifestyle change due to a health crisis, so that's it. We're closed. And Dee and Jack Jackson, they loved going there. And
really?
Every year at Hobbs, their annual anniversary, they lowered the prices back to their first year.
Really?
20-cent steak dinner, stuff like that.
Oh, I'll be darned. I never made it to Hobbs in Ypsilanti.
It was an institution.
Yeah. Huh, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hopefully someone buys it and opens it back up, like I think is going to happen with the Common Grill. Cross your fingers. I don't know anything, though.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned for that. Join us tomorrow morning. We'll have Zoe Lyons along with Angela Guadagnini and Kate Schwartz from Kate's Art School. And later today on Bart's show, Kelly Crum, our visit to the Albert Kahn Apartments, Kelly Schweitzer from Lumen Christi, Ebony Young, and Barbara Baird-Pauley. That's it for today. Have a great morning.
Today on Food Circus, we're headed to One North Kitchen and Bar, located at 2115 Bondsteel Drive in Jackson, right off of 127. This family-friendly restaurant has a singular vision to create an environment of